Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this series, you're going to see 25 days of trade analysis. I am calling it 25 days of Tradesmas. In this Tradesmas series, if you are going to be watching it, I highly suggest that you take the opportunity to be participating in the giveaway. I would love to give back to you guys in the YouTube world who have supported me and followed me. I am always very interactive in the trading floor community, but I know there's a ton of you who have followed me for a while who aren't in there, and I want to be able to give back to YouTube as well. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for all of your guys' support here on my YouTube channel, and I am wishing you all the warmest of holidays, whatever holiday it is that you celebrate. I personally celebrate Christmas, so therefore I am doing the 25 days of Tradesmas. But whatever your holiday season is, I wish you and your family and loved ones a very warm and happy holiday season. With that being said, I am doing the giveaway here on my channel. So for every day that I do one of the Tradesmas videos, if you do any sort of interaction, if you like, comment, or subscribe, you will earn an entry to be able to qualify at the end on the 25th day to be part of the drawing that I am holding. I will draw a winner for the giveaway. I will announce the winner on the 26th of December. The prize will be to win a yearly subscription to the trading floor. So if you guys are interested in it, make sure that you are doing the likes, subscribe, and comments. Obviously, you cannot resubscribe over and over again, but don't worry. You will get 3 credit points towards that, but then every day following it, as long as you leave a like and you leave a comment, you'll get 2 additional entries for each of those. In addition to my giveaway, if you guys love giveaways, we are doing one on the Trading Floor YouTube channel as well. It's the same thing over there in order to enter as well, though it is interaction. So if you like, comment, and subscribe over there with that channel, you are going to be entered into a drawing at the end on the 25th as well. We will draw a name for somebody to win a $1,000 cash prize. You do have to have PayPal to accept this prize, so make sure that you can accept PayPal if you're going to go over there and enter into it. But I think that's a really nice prize. I think most people this time of year would love to have $1,000 extra. So make sure that you guys are also checking out the Tradesmas that we are doing on the trading floor. And there are lots of styles of trading happening over there on their Tradesmas. You will see all of our live streamers and our staff submitting videos. So if breakout trading isn't really your thing, or maybe my style isn't your thing, no worries. Go check out the Trading Floor's YouTube and make sure you are subscribing, and commenting for an opportunity to win $1,000 cash prize at the end. Okay, guys, let's get into the video, and happy holidays. Hello and Merry Tradesmas, day 12. This is actually the first day of Strategy Wars with a clean account that you guys are seeing. So it's a nice one because this has a multi-time frame analysis to it. So I know a lot of people like to see stuff about this and sometimes struggle with using a higher time frame confluence to help them with their bias on the lower time frame. So hopefully this video will help you guys. So this is a pretty classic breakout and retest trade that I did take. However, I did use a higher time frame as far as where is market structure at and where is it how has it been forming? And that gave me the bias to help me figure out how do I want to trade on the smaller time frame? What direction do I want to look for? So I'm here on the 1 hour time frame on the NAS100, and what I am looking at here is market structure. So you can see that to the left, there was a consolidation area of structure. It had broken that. It did come back and retest that zone a little bit, but it never actually makes a new lower low below it. And then it pushes up to make a new higher high, a new higher low, a new higher high. So this is a really strong indication that the market did have enough volume to really start driving price up, and that we were going to be looking for more of a bullish market and have the buying pressure. So that is all I pretty much did here. You guys can read my little stuff that I write on my little markups that I submit in the trading floor community. But basically, that is my analysis there. I was just looking at the 1 hour chart, just trying to figure out where the heck is market at? What direction are we going? And I've said this before too, don't overthink it. Just kind of zoom out, because it's really easy on those lower time frames to get lost in where is the actual trend at. So jump up a couple of time frames and go to maybe a 1 hour or so, and just zoom out a little bit and just look at it. Don't overthink it. Just look at it. If you can draw a trend line or something, or imagine just an arrow of some sort going up, the market is up. pretty easy. Back here, the market was very clearly down. Now, when we're in something like this, where you don't have clear market structure being formed, and I know people sometimes get confused here, like in this situation, they would be like, oh, well, it's starting to trend up. You're not actually trending up until you have broken and made a new higher high, which doesn't happen until here. And then a continued higher high and then another higher high. So in this situation, you're just in consolidation. So that's just a little tip there to help some of you guys who struggle with what direction the market is actually trending in. All right. So 1 hour time frame we were looking at, that created our bias for us. So then I dropped down to the 1 minute time frame. So I'm on 1 minute time frame, still NASDAQ 100, and I was looking for my entry. So what you'll see here are my zones. So I did have a zone marked up here, and this was one zone, this area. So this is my resistance. This was my support of an area. And then I did have a break of that. But within that break, it looks like they tried to create like a little mini zone, or maybe the market just was lacking a little bit of volume at the time, or didn't quite have the momentum. I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to collect more liquidity. I'm not really sure what happened here. I also might have just been off marking my zone a little bit. So that happens. And that's why we do use these like shaded boxes, that like shaded purple box. That's more of a price range area. Not like such a harsh, like just where my dotted line is. That's all I think about. Like when you see a dotted line, just assume that I am basically in my head drawing like something like this purple box. I just don't love having purple boxes all over the place. So for me, I mentally just have done this, and I talk about this in a previous Tradesmas video. Like if I have a dotted line, it's pretty much the middle area usually of like what my purple box would be, or it's either like in my head, I kind of know what I'm doing with it. But that's my system, and I'm just trying to give you guys a glimpse into my crazy mind as to what it is that I'm doing. And but whatever your system is to keep you guys organized for your support and resistance, or supply and demand zones, or whatever it is that you're using, feel free to do it. But this is my wacky little system that I use. All right. So anyhow, my purple box here that you can see, it is slightly higher than what I thought, because like I said, usually my dotted lines would be the middle, but it's not a big deal. That's why I actually left this purple box on, just because as the price was ranging, it was worth me noting. But anyhow, it does break out. The market does give you a pretty strong bullish candle here. It breaks above it. And had I been around to actually enter at this point, maybe I would have, based off of this upright smiley face. I know some people do ask sometimes, like, what if there's not a smiley face, but it breaks out and the most recent smiley face is like pretty far away? What do? Whatever the most recent smiley face is for you, then you would use that smiley face. Oh, just an FYI though, I am using Happy Trail and I use case 2. So that is case specific when I'm talking about like using the most recent smiley face with the breakout. But yeah, for me, I use case 2 with Happy Trail. If you guys are in the community, use Happy Trail, you'll know what I mean. Just select case 2. And that helps to kind of filter them in the way that like, you don't need to have smiley face right here. It is nice to have it. Usually if you have a smiley face with your breakout, it's a stronger confirmation, but you can still use the most recent smiley face, especially if you're like late to the move, like you are here in this case, where like the move is kind of happening before it breaks out, and it needs to do that in order to break that zone. So if that's the case, just use your most recent, as long as it's still following the direction you want it to go in. Okay, so market breaks out of it, it kind of dances around, creates a floor, which is fine. So like, again, I'm not really concerned about it consolidating in this area. It's just kind of creating a support here, which works for me. And then you get a nice, strong bullish candle here that breaks out. Again, your most recent smiley face is still upright, so that still could have been an entry as well. I wasn't around at this time, but I'm just giving you guys like options as like where you could have entered at, like as additional entries. All right, so where I was around at and was looking at was actually more in this time frame here. But at this point, the move was already too far gone. We had already broken that zone. We hadn't gotten to the next one yet, and I wasn't trying to get in this late. So I was waiting to see if we would get an official retest, which we did, thankfully. You can see you get the breakout here. While all of this is like nice as far as like price action goes and creating a little bit of a floor or a zone, it doesn't actually create a retest here. There's not like a strong retest. I know some people would probably think maybe this little bit is. I wouldn't consider that a retest at all. It's still within your trading zone, so I don't think that really works. It really kind of needs to come out of it and come back to retest this zone. Potentially some people might have thought this one was, and if you got in at, at this point somewhere in this area, yeah, or if this one or this one, yeah, I mean, you still were good as far as the trade goes because your stop loss would have been bottom of here and you still, yeah, you would have been fine. I was not around, like I said, for this. So I was waiting for the retest to come back a little bit deeper. So you'll see what happened here was I have this little shaded purple box here, and that is showing where the market comes back down to retest the top of this one. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but the wicks do count as price points for this. When it comes to retesting, a wick does count in my strategy. So the way that I do this is I just imagine like I pulled this purple box over. And if I had expanded it over, just so you guys could see this properly, you would see that these wicks all would have been tapping into that area. So retesting this zone. So that is a confirmation of a retest, which I was fine with. Then you get this nice little upright smiley face with a nice strong bullish candle, and it breaks out of that retest area. So confirming that market structure is likely going to continue. So then I enter at close of candle, and my take profit was a previous area to the left that I had used. So I did get a 1.39R. It's not the best reward in this situation, but it's still good. I did have to keep a little bit of a heavier stop loss here. I did go down below, even though I had tested this area already, like this area, I just felt like my stop loss, if I was entering here and like only popping it here, just maybe wasn't enough. I didn't know if it would maybe retest a little deeper into this zone and actually come into like underneath into where this one was. So I wanted to be careful just in case it like wanted to tap this top of this previous zone. So anyhow, I kept a little bit of a heavier stop loss here, and I could have maybe kept tighter in hindsight, but you never know. You never know. If I had kept tighter, I probably would have gotten stopped out. So I don't regret where my stop loss placement was, and yeah, I probably could have gotten a nicer reward if I kept a tighter stop loss here, but this, it's real money for me. So this is a real account that I was on. So I was able to make $1,392.65 off of this trade for that day, which is great. I'm happy with that for a profit for a day. And that was this trade, this breakdown of it. The take profit got hit, no problem. And a little thing I do want to say is that I know sometimes people get stressed out when their take profits get hit. You're happy, but then you think like, well, I could have gotten a little more. What I want to show you with this purple box and what I am like highlighting here is that you could have gotten a little bit more, but you actually should be pretty proud of yourself if you're marking your stuff and you start to see another accumulation happen like right at the area of your take profit, because that means that you marked your zone pretty correctly. So you're trading within this zone here, it breaks it, and then you're trading within this zone here, and then you ended up marking it so correctly that now you've broken into a new zone and it's creating a new floor. So your resistance that it taps and hits and creates, takes your take profit at, that's now becoming a new floor of support for the next zone that's above it. So I know sometimes people do ask about this situation, or how do you maximize all the way to the tippy top? The truth is you don't. My answer is you just don't do that. You just take what the market is giving you and just be smart about your zones. Like, I very much am a zone-to-zone trader, and I do stay on the more cautious side, as I've talked about in previous videos. So yeah, there really is no how do I get this very top of this wick? My answer to you is that you're probably being a little bit too greedy there. And if you can get consistently a 1.3R reward, like that's better than risking for a 1.5, which I probably could have gotten here, but risking that all the time and potentially taking more losses or something like that. So that's my little soapbox that I'm getting on about, people trying to be a little bit over greedy with what they're expecting from the market. The more probable and realistic take profit for me to take was the 1.39. I wasn't going to target a 1.5 here, although I would have gotten it. But hindsight is 2020. Of course it I could have, should have, would have. But in real life, my real life money, $1,392.65, that's real money for me. And I'm more than happy to take that, and not hold potentially and lose it for $1,500. So that is my little blurb there about that. And just kind of advice to people when you are getting into your live accounts and trading with like real capital, because it's one thing when you're on demo accounts. And I know a lot of times people, they want to hold more on demo accounts, but in real life, it can be a little bit of a mental struggle when you start having like real money involved. And those of you who have gotten to that point or tried, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. And when you find a system that works for you, my advice is don't go against it. Like, don't push for more. Try not to be too greedy about it. Try not to like force the market to give you something that it just might not give you. Like, be okay with accepting a decent take profit as long as it makes sense for your risk to reward. Like, this was a very safe, good, practical trade that I took. It was a classic breakout and retest of a zone. Like, it met all the criteria. It still fell within my risk to reward because the risk was more than 1R, and the next zone for my entry did still make sense. So I know people look at things like, well, if you would have gotten back here, you could have gotten more. If you would have held to the top, you could have gotten more. But try not to play that should have, could have, would have game with yourself. It really does hurt you mentally. So that is this trade here, a pretty classic breakout and a retest. I love this trade. It's a very nice, easy one to show you guys. That actually works out well. The 1.39R reward isn't probably the best. You really could have probably gotten a little bit better if you had entered back here with the original break, or even some of these other like areas that I showed you at potential, like break here, the retest maybe in this area that you had seen. But nonetheless, I am perfectly content with my trade, and I really did like the stronger retest that I did see. So yeah, I don't regret this at all. I don't regret not holding all the way up to the tippy top. I'm very happy with this trade and the way that I took this one and executed it. So yeah, that's it for this one. I hope that this one was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.